Hey guys, back again. So it's been a while, but you remember this one, this application? I'm just on a new PC. The other one just well, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, burned out. So I had to get a new one, and I set up everything for this application to start turning this into a API. So let's take a look at what we have here. Yes, I trust the outros. And let's see the code. Okay, let me just. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do in order to get turn this into an API, we need to remove all the views. Okay, and we need to change how the routes. Okay, the routes are okay here. We will check the token middleware in a bit. So we'll see what we need to do. Okay, yeah. And we will need to change a couple of things here. We will need to return the token, okay? And I do have some APIs that return a token, so we might just use them in order to make this into a JSON API, so we can connect this to another client, Vue, React, Angular, and just use it, since I think most of you will like to turn this into a REST API. Okay, you will also be able to turn that later into GraphQL. So I'm a little rusty now with Node, but let's just see what we need to do. First of all, let's just change. Okay, let's just go here, and you can see if we say localhost 4000, we just hit enter. It's going to take us to the main page. Okay. So we might need to just change. Let's just go to where I'm rendering. Render. Okay, instead of render, let's just go all the way up, and this is the out controller. Okay, so with the out controller, it's going to be a little different with this. So let's just go with post first, and let's say, okay, instead of response.render, we're not going to render, we're going to say response that JSON, and this is an array, right? So let's just hit canary, and let's just look at this. So express JS return JSON. So let's go step by step so you can also see and maybe get something out of this. Send a user response with, just open this one. Oh, it's in Spanish by, okay, well, fuck it. So response to JSON, and we return this. Okay. So let me just say status. This is when, okay, that should be 200. Then a correct response, and this should be the posts, and what we're going to return is the underscore posts. Okay, so so this is, oh, okay, the freaking sound. So this is the let's even go here and say HTTP localhost 4000, and you can see we are now returning JSON. We are not returning the stuff, but you can see we're returning the user, and we might not want to return the user at this point. Yep, we will not need to do that. So let's just remove this. I don't want to return the stuff of the user. Fuck the sound. Let me just if I can go to notice settings, play a sound. No, let's not play that sound because it's fucking everything up. So if I hit save, okay, that doesn't sound. And if I refresh this one, you can see that it's returning JSON with a user ID of 1. Okay, that is good. So we will be able to see at least the user ID. Then let me refresh this one, and you can see what never translate. Okay, and yep. So let's do the rest. So response status 500, and instead of that, let's just add this, and we're going to render an error, and let's say the error fetching the post. So this is going to be, let's go with a 500, okay, and that should return an error if we are not able to retrieve the posts. Okay, remember we're using promises here. You can use async await, and that will work better. But right now we're just going to change everything that is rendering to something that returns JSON. Okay, so we don't want the user here. We don't want to include anything here. That's what I mean. And this is find one with the request params ID. Okay. To get single post. So if I go, did I? Okay, no. Let's go back. Well, let's go here. And if I go to posts, is that the correct? Let me just go here. Let's just pin this one. And let me just go to routes. Okay, and let me just get the post and the ID. Okay, so that's it. Post. Why is not post? Let's click that one and let's get the ID of 1. Property data values of undefined single. Oh yeah, we don't need that. So it's complaining because we are not responding with this. But what we want actually is just to say response render, not render, sorry, well, status, well, status 200 if this is okay, and JSON, this one is returning post and underscore post. Okay, and this should be fine. If I go here and refresh, you can see we return the ID. Okay, let's just go and go to create. I know this is kind of messy, but it's just like that. Oh, no. Okay, you can see we are still rendering this. Okay, select a file. This is opening on my other screen. Okay, so let me just get one image to see that we are returning the correct stuff. Let's pick this one and create. We can do anything here still, but if I go to post ID2, you can see we get the ID2 and all that. So I have my new database here. Let's go to post and let's go to data, and you can see I have now two posts because I updated or added one. And if I go to, this is a copy, so I'm just working on this. Let's just remove this kit. We don't want that. Oh, what are you doing? I want to remove this one. Okay, maybe because it's OneDrive doing all that shit. Okay, so let's just go to covers, and you can see, continue. You can see I have two images. Let's just make this bigger, okay? And are you going to delete that one or not? Try again. Maybe because I have that open. Okay, let's just forget about that. Anyways, I will just remove the git later. So it was easier to make just a freaking copy of this. So let me just. This is returning something. All this consoling and all that crap is going to go away. So let's just, because I have a console error. Okay, and every time I have a console, I'm not going to console, I'm just going to return an error with the error like that. Okay. And we need that ending. So let me just make this a little bigger, okay, so you can see better. So I think you realize what we're doing. We're returning JSON. We're removing every render and just making this into a proper, and just removing all the details of the user from the return, okay, from the data that is returning. And let's just start deleting all this. Okay, this is going to take a bit in order to make all the changes, so I'm just going to do it step by step, okay, as I go. So you can do the same there, okay. And in this case, we didn't add pagination or stuff like that, but I have a video about pagination with a MERN and min stack. Okay, so you can just check that to see how to return it. Okay, let me just make this a little smaller because it's kinda. Okay, so response status. Okay, so this is going to be an error. Let me just copy the errors I have here and just do that. Okay, we're just going to respond with the error. Response status to 1. Okay, that's fine. We still are going to return a 2.1 when the file is created, but we're just going to return the we can return something like data and the file, the post was created successfully. You will see what you need to return here. Okay, you can also return this post, or let's just fucking return that. Okay, I don't want that. I just want to do this post and post. You can also do this, and this should return a post, but let's just do it the long way so you can see what everything is doing and you don't break your head trying to figure it out by yourselves. Okay, so that should work. This is creating the post. We're still passing this. So at this point, we're going to require this URL, and I hope this one is set correctly because we will need to get the URL of the file in the server. Okay, so at any case, we can just come here and change it and then change it in the database. Okay, so this is not a big deal. Okay, so we have a console post here. I don't need that. I don't want any crap in the console right now, and we're just going to say response render. This is an error, so let's just copy what we have here for the error and let's keep moving. Okay, we're just going to return that, and all this should be working. So I changed the create post. We don't need any show create here because we are not going to render any page. Okay, that is going to be the work of the client. Okay, so you will have a form in React, Angular, or else, and you will be able to send that. So we don't care about that at this point. Okay, let's say update post. we're just changing everything here. Okay, this is an error, and let's just return that. Okay, for some reason it removed what I had on the clipboard. Okay, let's just return that. We return a JSON. Okay, and let's go back. This is still an error too, so we're just going to say return status 500. We don't want to say what is going on with the error, but well, we're actually saying that because we are returning what the error is. But at this case, this is a error that needs to be set like this. Okay, not an actual error from here, and here we can just return the error like this. Okay, we just copy that one again and all that. Okay, we can just fine-tune that later. So at this point we don't care too much about this. We're just going to return everything as JSON, and this is going to check the post updated. We're changing everything here. Console log, we don't want this console log, we just want the return JSON, and everything should be okay here too. We're not going to redirect, we're going to respond with the status 200 and with the post. And if there's an error, we just return the error. Okay, you should be able to see what we are doing here. And delete post, and let's just look. We're looking for any render, any redirect, and we don't want to redirect here. At this point, this is removing this. Okay, so this is the end actually of this. So let's say 200 and return maybe a message data has been deleted. Okay, something like that. Wasn't deleted, then we return with an error. That post wasn't deleted, something like that. And then we can just check what happened and all that. Okay. So all this is just going to return JSON. Okay, so if we go to post 1, okay, we have an error. Well, not an error, but it kind of, okay, yeah, we do have an error. Route get request callback. What object? Where? Route.js. Let's see, Route.js. Should be one of these. So at this point, let's just remove all this. I don't want to have the token right now at this point. We will do that. Show create. Okay. I see why, because show create doesn't exist anymore. Then let's just return. And let's see if that fixes all. Okay, let's just cancel the process and not the index that is returning. Let's just go back, and it seems it has that same error, or no, it just kind of stays there for some reason. If I say 2, you can see the ID is changing, so we are getting that. Okay, and yeah, so we will need to do a couple of changes later, but yeah. Okay, so we are getting a ID. Let's say Control F. No, by Control F. No, I said Control D, but well, fuck it. You can see we have the ID1 and the ID2, the two objects that we're returning, and we can just do another one. we are just going to also, we will need to go to the out controller, and we are not going to render anything. So let's just do the same here. No response that JSON. This is an error, so let's say 500 and JSON, and we need to pass an object here that is going to say error. I'd said it like this before, right? And let's say error. Then it's the same on the other ones. Let's just call it error, and let's just call it please fill all the details. Something like that. Bcrypt, we don't need the console of the user. We're just going to see if it's added in the database. Say storage. At this point, we should not require the storage, but let's just keep it there just to see the changes. And we have a redirect, which is going to be a JSON response of 200 with the user and user. Let's just respond that to the same user. Let's see what happens or what it returns. Or maybe we can just say a user created successfully and all that. Console log error. I don't want to see any error at this point. We're just going to try to guess everything. And this is 500 return JSON error. Okay, I do have the error here. And it's the same like this. Okay. We don't need to render a login. Okay. That is work that has to be done in the client. And users upload. We return a JSON. We don't want to include anything of the user with the with that. Response status 500 is the same. Route requires what? Oh, okay, because we deleted the other one. We need to delete inside out.js. We need to delete this one that is marking as something that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we just go back here to this because these freaking notifications are... So you're going to display anything else or not? Yep, requires a callback. It kind of does whatever it wants, so... Let's just check later. And there was an error, processing the request, error, restore the token, and we just redirect. In this case is at 200. I'm just changing everything at this point. I'm not even that concerned about what everything is doing. So we if user will return. Okay, at this point, this is the login. Okay. Okay, and we are receiving also that. So at this point, what we're going to return here is the user, right? Yep. Try to relate the user back in his place. Okay, so this is another thing. At this point, of course, we're not going to use that one, or we're not going to even try to set that. So, okay, if this we have an error, if here we do have an error, we're going to return the error. Then here we should be able to return the token. So response or return the token. So we do have the state token. So let's just grab this one. At this point, I'm just checking this stuff, guys. So let token equals to JSON web token, and we're going to return the token because somehow we need to give the user the token back. Okay. user doesn't, no, sorry, user doesn't exist at this point. Let's just toggle all that out, and something is okay. And space token, I saw that comma. Okay. So we're not going to redirect, we're just going to return JSON, and we're going to return the token with the token. Okay, that should be it. So let's go and let's just move this one here. Okay. And for example, if I go to out, of course, I will not return, or I will not get anything, because we do still have the views, but right now the out, we cannot test it because we cannot send any data, and I do not have Postman installed. So let's just leave that for another time. Okay, and we do need to set the token here, guys. We do need to return the token here instead of the user. Okay. Oh, we don't have a token there, so let me just copy this. Let's say let token and equals to the generation of the token, and let's just remove the storage. Okay. Why I'm changing all this? Because we still have some renders. At this point, let's just remove the dashboard, because this is going to be stuff that we can yeah, let's actually we're returning the user with all the, no, we can just say where user, we can just return an or get an ID, say where email or user ID is equals to something, and we don't want to include the user. Oh yeah, this is going to be for something like a search or something like that. So let's just do or comment this out. Now why is giving me the freaking error? What did I do wrong here? Unexpected token colon. Okay, so that is happening. Okay, let me just do this. Is it because I'm up? It's not this one. Up here? Maybe? Okay. Yeah. Okay, like that. And it wasn't where I said it. Okay. So when we register, we check everything and we should just return the token. At this point, I'm considering that everything else is working, guys. So this is a guessing game at this point. So let me just, yeah, go back. And I cannot add anyone right now. And I don't want to install that at this point. We will do that in the next video once I have that installed. So all this is going to work. We can go to posts. Okay, so we're receiving all the posts, and we can just get the ID of a post and return that. Post 3 doesn't exist. Oh, and we need to check if that exists or not, because this is going to just stay there. Oh, okay. It says error and something. But if I say 2, okay. Okay, then we're checking, sorry, we're actually checking that we don't have that, or that if we don't have that post, we just return an error, and that's fine. I really want that to be set. So we have, that should be on the post controller, and since we're checking a single, It should be on the single. Okay, get single status 200. We don't have the error here. And say the post you are looking for doesn't exist. Okay, that should be the one. Okay, and you can see that. So we are returning JSON here. Okay. I can even set an HTML so we can return all this. It's going to be a pain though, but for people that don't know how to set it, but this is a working. Okay, so let me just do something. Let's just finish the video here. Okay, and why I move? Why the hell I moved that? Okay, let's just finish the video here. We change every render to a JSON. Okay, to just return JSON. That's why we are just seeing this. Okay, but we should be able to update, delete, and all that. Okay, the only thing that is going to happen is that instead of returning a view, and let's just do something. Let me just do this, and let's just delete the views, and let's just go back. You can see that it's still working, and we don't need, well, we shouldn't need the state JSON because we don't need to. We're just going to return stuff and let the API handle everything. And let me just try something else. Let's just cancel that, and if I can delete this freaking git, but I don't know why it's okay. Let's just wait a bit. But yeah, I'm going to install Postman, and I'm going to see if that is going to allow us. That should allow us to add users. And what the freak do I need? Okay, I'm just going to change that. Okay, well, fuck that. So okay, you can, if you don't need authentication, guys, you just need to move the post, all this, okay, out. If you don't need authentication, if you just want to do some basic stuff, you just need to copy the post controllers, remove everything from the out. Okay, you don't need anything there, and anything that is from the user, you just remove those parts. Okay, like avatars and all that inside the post. Sorry, since you don't need to set anything for the user. Okay, and you can just delete the model user, and everything should work. Okay, and you might need to recreate your database, but with Sequelize is easy. We do have a rebuild. I don't have that here, or what? Async. I think if I set true here, it's going to rebuild everything. So you can just set that, and it's going to grab the new models and all that. But it's going to delete all your data. Okay, so just be aware of that. And we need to see how to pass the token. Okay, I think we do have that already, but we might need to rework a bit all this because we don't need to redirect anymore with this JSON stuff. But as I said, if you don't need a user on your API, just don't give a freak about this and use only the post controller and connect that using any HTTP module for React. Well, that's Axios, actually, Axios or Fetch. For Angular is the HTTP client, and for Vue is also Axios or Fetch. Okay, so Yeah, I'm going to install Postman, and I will see when I have the time to check that. Okay, so we can just continue building this stuff. So this is the first step of changing this into a correct API, a RESTful API. Okay, and thank you guys, and see you in the next one.